finally, Amber Cox is doing some sort of work around here. Finally, I don't know if somebody had to knock on the office window. I don't know what happened, but something happened, and she finally woke up and started getting a little bit of damn work done. Shout out to Roberta, who had this on X. Monique Billings took a meeting with the New York Liberty, but should sign with the Indiana Fever, I'm being told. Hashtag.
After watching other teams make bold moves while Indiana sat idle, Amber Cox has finally stepped up to do her job, and the first signing is exactly what this roster desperately needed. Monique Billings is coming to Indianapolis, and if you caught Team USA's summer performances, you already understand the significance of this move. She was the pick-and-roll partner working alongside Caitlin Clark during those MVP-caliber performances, and that existing chemistry makes this acquisition even more valuable. The real question isn't whether she fits, it's why it took this long to get it done.
And Monique Billings appears to be signing with the Indiana Fever, and we could already see the chemistry she had with Caitlin Clark at Team USA. Okay, she understood her role. She knew how to finish out of the pick and roll. All of that good stuff that we was looking for from our starting power forward last season that was talking about winning MVPs and all types of nonsense. Hopefully that is dead, but we are not for certain yet. Okay, we're not for certain that Natasha Howard won't be back. That's the last thing I want to see. I am dreading opening.
Let's break down what Billings adds that was completely absent from last season's roster. She's a genuine pick-and-roll threat who knows exactly how to operate alongside an elite point guard. Look at that possession one more time. She sets a solid screen that creates real separation, rolls hard to the rim, catches a perfectly placed bounce pass, and converts through contact with her left hand for the on-one. That's the exact ingredient missing when Caitlin had to watch Natasha Howard dribbling up the floor like she was trying out for a different position instead of fulfilling her actual responsibilities. Last season with Phoenix, Billings put up 6.2 points and 5.1 rebounds across just 18 minutes nightly. Those raw numbers might not jump off the page until you dig into the efficiency. 52.7% shooting from the field and elite conversion rates within 5 feet of the basket. She doesn't require designed plays, doesn't need extended possessions with the ball, just needs a point guard capable of finding her in the right spots, and Indiana happens to employ the league's best passer.
I think this is going to be beautiful, y'all. This is going to be beautiful, but there's still much more work to do. I still want to sign another big. We need to sign another big, okay? Let's take a look at this right here, man. Monique Billings, Caitlin Clark in a pick and roll. I can see it already. Look at that. Good screen. That's a good physical screen. Great bounce pass from the GOAT. And the finish. Left hand through contact and one for Monique Billings. We're going to be getting a lot of that. Look at it. We're going to be getting a lot of this two-man action this year. We're going to be getting a lot of that.
Here's why this move demonstrates actual strategic thinking. Indiana needed additional size, more physicality, and players who comprehend their assignments without overstepping boundaries. Atlanta just stacked their front court with Angel Reese, Bree Jones, and Naz Hillman, building serious depth with legitimate size and rebounding capability. The Fever cannot enter next season relying solely on Aliyah Boston and Damiris Dantas as their only dependable interior options. That's insufficient depth when championship aspirations are the goal. This brings aboard a veteran who's been competing since 2019, someone who's played for Atlanta and Phoenix and understands what meaningful contributions look like on winning teams. Most critically, she's not arriving with demands for increased touches or attempting to prove she deserves expanded roles. She's a complementary piece designed to elevate her teammates, which is precisely what this roster construction required.
Monique Billings understands her role. A veteran, knows how to play this game. I think she is going to be a great addition for this Indiana Fever team and Caitlin Clark, as they already have great chemistry. And like I said, we need more girth down low. Aliyah Boston and Dantas is not enough. That's not enough. Okay, Atlanta, they got Angel Reese, Bree Jones, Naz Hillman. They got some bangers down there, okay? We needed to add more girth, and I think this definitely helps with that.
Billings wasn't the only addition, as the Fever also appear to be bringing in Tyra Harris as their backup point guard. And this is where the situation becomes more nuanced. Harris played under Stephanie White in Connecticut, and I've been extremely clear about not wanting White's personal connections receiving special treatment on this roster. We witnessed how that dynamic played out last season, with certain players believing they operated above the system. That acknowledged, Harris represents a legitimate backup point guard solution. She contributed 7.1 points and 2.8 assists across 22 minutes per game for Connecticut last season. More importantly, she converted 38.5% from beyond the arc on 2.3 attempts nightly. That's respectable shooting from a reserve guard. She can manage possessions, makes intelligent decisions, and won't attempt to exceed her role when Caitlin Clark sits. Compare that to Indiana's situation last season. Erica Wheeler dealt with constant injuries and has never completed a season healthy throughout her entire career. Odyssey Sims was a complete failure. The Sydney Colson experiment was embarrassing to witness. Harris is definitively superior to all previous options. She can contribute 8-12 productive minutes, maintain offensive flow, and prevent leads from evaporating during Clark's rest periods.
She's always hurt. She's never got through a season healthy. I didn't want Odyssey Sims back. I didn't want neither one of them back. I can live with this Ty Harris signing. It's better than the whole Sydney Colson foolishness they did last offseason. I'm cool with this. Ty Harris said, this was Ty Harris actually in the gym, and it said, Ty Harris is back in the lab showcasing her bag in front of some special guests. Hashtag feeling feverish. Okay. And then it said, at Ty Harris, she ain't sick, but definitely might have a fever. Ty Harris appears to be headed to the Indiana Fever as the backup point guard for Caitlin Clark. Okay, maybe a little feverish, though. Okay, this is Ty Harris. Listen, man.
Now let's address what still requires attention, because 2 signings don't solve every problem. The Fever absolutely must retain Lexi Hull. She's a restricted free agent, meaning Indiana holds matching rights on any offer she receives. Allowing her to depart would constitute organizational malpractice. Hull converted 44.4% from 3 last season on 2.4 attempts per game. She's among the league's premier 3-and-D wings, and she'll only improve playing alongside Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell remains another priority. The sharpshooting guard brings elite scoring, toughness, and veteran leadership. She doesn't shy from crucial moments and represents exactly the type of player you want in playoff rotation. Temi Fagbinlay needs to return as well. All 6'5" of her provides size and versatility this roster desperately requires. But here's the unavoidable concern. What's happening with Natasha Howard? She remains under contract, and the Fever haven't executed any trades or releases involving her. That's genuinely terrifying. The absolute worst scenario involves Natasha Howard returning, demanding primary option status, bringing the ball up the court, taking possessions away from Caitlin Clark while discussing MVP aspirations. That would be catastrophic.
A dream. I'm trying to figure out where the hell is Atlanta getting all this money from? Are y'all sponsored by the Migos? What's going on? How is Atlanta Dream signing all these people for all this money? Is Ryan Howard about to be playing on a minimum? Where's the money at? Well, bro, where's all this bread coming from? Y'all done gave Alicia Gray a 3-year max. Y'all brought over Angel Reese. Y'all paid Bree Jones. Y'all paid Naz Hillman. Y'all paying Jordan Canada. What is going to be left for Ryan Howard? I'm interested to see what's about to happen with that, because I'm confused on where's the money at? Like, this is kind of crazy, okay? Jordan Canada, definitely a good point guard, really good defender.
Meanwhile, the rest of the league continues making significant moves. Atlanta just secured Jordan Canada on a 2-year contract, and I'm genuinely confused about their salary cap situation. They awarded Alicia Gray a 3-year maximum contract. They acquired Angel Reese along with her substantial rookie extension. They compensated Bree Jones. They paid Naz Hillman. Now they're paying Jordan Canada. What remains available for other signings? Is someone about to accept minimum compensation? Because the financial calculations aren't adding up. Canada is a solid point guard, bringing defensive intensity and leadership qualities. She averaged 8.2 points and 4.1 assists last season with Los Angeles, while shooting 42.1% from the field. She's not a primary scoring option, but she's a steady presence capable of running an offense and elevating teammates. Atlanta is constructing something legitimate with that young core. Then there's Brittany Griner heading to Connecticut. That's a significant transaction for both franchises. Griner was moved to a reserve role with Phoenix during the second half of last season after they added front-court depth. She remains a dominant interior force when engaged, averaging 17.8 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks across 30 minutes per game. Connecticut needs rim protection and interior scoring, and Griner can deliver both if properly motivated.
Loaded. They're bringing everybody back. Chelsea Gray's back. Jewel Lloyd is back on a 3-year deal. Jackie Young is back on a 1-year deal. Asia Wilson is back. They're bringing their core back, and they're going to try to run this whole thing back and win another title. But this right here is the major news. Monique Billings headed to the Indiana Fever. Apparently, we had to get into this. I'm excited for this.
The Las Vegas Aces are running back their championship core. Chelsea Gray re-signed. Dearica Hamby returned on a 3-year deal. Jackie Young accepted a 1-year contract to run it back. Wilson isn't going anywhere. They're attempting to recapture that championship formula, and prove last season was merely an aberration. That's a dangerous squad when healthy, and they'll serve as the measuring stick for everyone else in the Western Conference. But let's refocus on Indianapolis, because that's what truly matters. The Fever are finally executing the correct types of moves. Monique Billings and Tyra Harris represent intelligent, strategic additions, filling legitimate needs without breaking the bank or disrupting roster construction. Here's what makes the Billings signing so significant beyond surface-level production. It demonstrates that Amber Cox and the front office are actually observing what succeeded during the offseason. They watched Caitlin Clark dominate with Team USA while partnering with Billings in pick-and-roll situations, and they decided to bring that chemistry to Indiana. That's intelligent roster building. That's utilizing available information and making logical decisions based on evidence rather than reputation or salary considerations. Consider what this means for offensive system implementation. Caitlin Clark excels in pick-and-roll scenarios. She's among basketball's best passers at any level, possessing elite ability to manipulate defenses with her vision, ball handling, and court awareness. But that skill set gets wasted without bigs who can convert opportunities. Billings can finish. She proved it with Team USA, and she's demonstrated it throughout her WNBA career. Last season's offense too frequently stalled due to players who didn't comprehend roles or attempted excessive actions. Natasha Howard bringing the ball up instead of running the floor. Aliyah Boston forced into awkward post-ups instead of operating off Caitlin in space. Nalissa Smith taking contested mid-range jumpers instead of crashing offensive boards. That's not championship basketball. That's disorder. Billings brings structure. She understands exactly what she is. A high-energy physical big who sets quality screens, rolls hard to the basket and finishes through contact. She doesn't require ball dominance to generate impact. She doesn't need designed plays. She just needs a point guard capable of finding her in optimal positions, and Caitlin Clark excels at precisely that. Now let's discuss Tyra Harris, because this signing carries more complexity. On paper, it makes complete sense. The Fever needed a backup point guard who could maintain health and contribute meaningful minutes. Harris satisfies both requirements. She appeared in 37 games for Connecticut last season and was available throughout the playoffs. That's dependability you can trust. But here's the complication. Harris played under Stephanie White in Connecticut. She knows White's system. She's comfortable with White's coaching approach. That could prove beneficial if it means seamless integration and immediate execution without extended adjustment periods. But it could also prove problematic if it results in preferential treatment or extended rope simply due to that prior relationship. We witnessed what happened last season when Stephanie White's connections gained excessive influence. Roster construction became questionable. Certain players received roles they hadn't earned, and team chemistry deteriorated because of it. The Fever cannot afford repeating those mistakes, especially with Caitlin Clark entering her second season and the championship window wide open. White claims Harris earned her position in Connecticut. She wasn't a charity case. She produced when opportunities arose. She shot effectively from three. She made sound decisions with possessions. She played solid defense if she maintains that same approach in Indianapolis. She'll become a valuable rotation contributor. The critical factor is ensuring she understands her assignment. Enter for 8-12 minutes. Maintain offensive stability. Don't attempt excessive actions and exit when Caitlin returns. The comparison to last season's options is dramatic. Erica Wheeler possessed talent but could never maintain health. She missed significant time every single season of her career. Odyssey Sims was supposed to provide veteran presence but ended up being a net negative on both ends. Sydney Colson was a complete disaster who should never have made the roster initially. Harris clearly upgrades all three previous options. And that's before considering the chemistry she might possess with Stephanie White's system. But the work remains incomplete, not even close. The Fever still must re-sign Lexi Hull.